So joining me now did the big introduction off the top for Tonya Lewis Lee, and I'm so happy to have you here. I went through the mini bio.
Okay.
You know, I did producer of TV and film, author, philanthropist, advocate for women and infants, mother, wife. Gotta mention Spike Lee because he's an Oscar winner now. Not, but even before then. But I just have to say that's your husband. But I love that you are really leaning into wellness in a big way with your new company, Movida Organics. And I try to correct me if I'm wrong, because I know there's this whole wellness brand, and then there's the vitamins. But does Movida Organics cover everything?
Well, I would like Movida Organics to cover everything, ultimately, yes.
Okay.
Because while we are selling a vitamin product, as I've said to you many times, I'm the first person to say that no one vitamin is going to do it. In order to really access healthy wellness, you know, it's a part of a whole lifestyle. And so, you know, when I think of what I'm trying to do is, I look at Martha Stewart, right? She showed us what that lifestyle is and then provided us the products to achieve that lifestyle.
Exactly.
To me, I think healthy wellness or health and wellness is a process. I like to show women, especially Black women, and support them and inspire them to that healthy lifestyle, and then be able to provide them tools to help them achieve it.
And you mentioned Martha Stewart, not that she's in the wellness space, but there are a lot of people in the wellness space. When you looked at this before you started with Movida, what did you see that was missing? What's the void that Movida Organics will fill?
Well, I think when I started and Movida has been an evolution of many things, right? It started with my advocacy, really. And initially, I created a website, a platform called Healthy You Now. And it was a way for me, I had been out on the road with the Office of Minority Health, talking about infant health. And when you're talking about infant's health, you're talking about a woman's health.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get the information I was hearing out to a broader audience in sort of a girlfriend-to-girlfriend way to inspire Black women especially to try to make our own personal individual lifestyle choices, but also to help our communities rise up and support us in those lifestyles, right? And so for me, the void that Movida is filling is being a woman, being a voice of a Black woman, really talking about health and wellness, the lifestyle of it, because there is no simple fix. There is no simple fix.
Yeah.
So, you know, what that lifestyle is, being supportive of that lifestyle, and really trying to convene women together, too, to come and talk about it, because I do think, too, that's a critical piece.
And I know wellness is a big part of your life. I mean, you definitely practice what you preach. It's very important to you. We were just talking before we started about trying to, you know, get enough sleep, juggle all the responsibilities that you have professionally, and get those workouts in. Your mom, your husband, your wife to a husband. Like, how do you manage your wellness?
Yeah, it's you know, it's funny. It can be complicated, but it can be simple. I mean, I'm a very lucky person. Where I live, my gym is literally across the street.
Okay.
You know, there's a juice bar like on almost every corner. Yoga studios everywhere. I live in an urban environment, so I can walk a lot. So I'm very fortunate in that accessing that's pretty simple, right? There's a grocery store on the corner from my house.
Yeah.
So how do I access it? I try to go to the gym every day. Mornings, you know, I figure if I can get at least a half hour of something every day.
Yeah.
I can do at least a half hour. And if I'm really busy and I'm traveling, I can drop down and do 40 push-ups. You know, I mean, so that sort of physical piece of it. You know, I've been on every diet you can think of. I don't diet anymore. I hate dieting.
Why'd you stop? I know why, but tell.
Because it's miserable.
Yeah,
I hate being hungry. I hate depriving myself. There was a point I had gained a little weight and I was trying to lose it, and I said, I just can't diet. I don't want to be hungry. I don't want to go through that pain. So I had to figure out what the lifestyle was, I also just don't like red meat and poultry, so that was easy to give up. But then giving up the dairy really helps. I think it's helped me immensely in a lot of ways. I try to drink a lot of water as much as I can. I think water is a big
key.
help.
Yeah.
And recently I've sort of really cut back on alcohol, and I'm seeing really positive changes in that in so many ways.
Thinking about doing that one. Really?
I have to say, and I'll tell you the other thing I do is I give myself 28-day challenges, right? So last year I had fallen off the exercise wagon. So in July of last year I said, okay, I'm going to do a 28-day fitness challenge. I'm going to do 28 days of every day doing something, which is the best thing because then you start a habit.
Yeah.
That's how I stopped the drinking. I said, I'm going to give myself a 28-day challenge. By the time I got through the 28 days, I kept it going, and now I don't even really want it anymore. Like, it's not like an aversion, but like, I don't really need it.
And you see a difference because that's the thing for me. I'm like, I feel like it'll have a positive impact on my life, but I just love wine so much.
I know.
It's like my therapy.
Well, and if it brings you that much joy, you should continue to enjoy it. Right. I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think one should give up something that really brings them joy if they can do it in
But I'm
moderation.
trying to maximize my wellness.
Right.
That's the thing. I'm trying to find other ways
to help yourself along the way.
Yes.
Because it is like little steps, and change of habits and the way we think about ourselves, I mean, I really do try to keep positive energy around me and like block out negativity,
that makes a difference.
It really does matter. And, so some people may think I can be a little Pollyanna, but I'm not really Pollyanna. I'm a pragmatist.
Yeah.
But I think you can find joy even in painful moments.
Yeah.
So I try to find the joy in the painful moment.
Yeah. There's a lesson in
everything.
I truly believe that.
Yeah.
You may not feel like that in
at
the
the
moment.
Time. Absolutely.
But
ultimately,
there is a lesson. So we talked about your wellness. I want to get back to Movida for a minute and talk to me about what you have. There's the beauty, there's prenatal, and there's the multivitamin.
Exactly.
Why did you decide to make them vegan?
Well, I mean, I think we wanted everyone to be able to enjoy them, ingest them.
I was so happy when I heard this.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I think it matters to people. We wanted to do a D3, but vitamin D is very hard to do vegan because of the way they process it. I believe it goes through like sheep's skin. So that's been a holdup because I really wanted to do a D3 because I think most of us have a little low vitamin D, and I think vitamin D can make a difference in people's lives. So I'm still figuring that one out.
Yeah.
We made them vegan. We wanted them to be organic and clean and what we say they are. We made it one a day. The pill itself is a little bit larger, but it's one a day. A lot of times with vitamins, they suggest that you take 3 or 4 over the course of the day. Most people don't even read the instructions and don't even understand what that really means, The way our vitamin is fermented and processed, it is done in such a way it can be taken on an empty stomach without fear of nausea or anything like that.
Which I love.
Yeah, I wanted to make it easy for women to take. I mean, that was the big thing for me. I wanted it to be what we say is in there, that it's good, clean, and healthy and organic for you, and easy to take. When I started, I had just started taking because I am the type of person who cycles on and cycles off of vitamins, right? And so I had just cycled on when I met my business partner, and I was feeling really good, and he gave me a real lesson on vitamins and why, vitamins, just like everything else, there are really good products out there and not such great products out there.
Right.
And understanding that a really good product can really make a difference in your life.
Yeah.
Whereas the others, I mean, worst case, they can do harm. Typical case, they do nothing.
Yeah.
I
love what you have here, and you talk about doing something in the vitamin D area, but have you thought about doing anything like a vegan collagen or
yes,
some other,
we have,
and
that's
a sleep, something to help you sleep?
Well, it's so funny. We haven't talked about sleep so much. The collagen, yes, and again, trying to find the organic.
Yeah.
That becomes a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
But we're on the lookout, on the hunt for that. I've had a lot of women ask me about a menopause pill. So thinking about that, when I talk to my formulators, who are all men, they're always kind of like, huh. I'm like, I'm telling you, there's something there. Let's start thinking about what we can
really good idea.
Mix in, what kind of formulations we can put together for that. I've thought about things that, are herbal remedy type things like with turmeric, and, I'm beginning to play around a little bit with what kind of different herbs do and how, if we mix them, how they can be helpful.
Yeah, because I take, once I became vegan, I think I told you the inflammation just...
Well, and that's the key.
Right?
We didn't know.
No.
We didn't know about inflammation.
No, and it is a
real
game changer. It's real, and it can wreak havoc, not just in joints, but in your organs.
Yeah.
That's real. So where are you on your vegan journey? I know you kind of...
Yeah, it's funny. I say now that I'm mostly plant-based. That's how I say it. Again, like I said, no red meat, no poultry, no dairy. I mean, if I eat something, I don't freak out, but I don't do dairy. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Dairy to me, again, talk about inflammation.
I can't.
It's so.
I can't.
No dairy.
It's like poison.
Yeah, it really is. It's like, it's a weird thing when you think about it. And I don't. And it's so funny because I kind of feel bad for the dairy farmers when I say that, but why should I feel bad? Because the USDA has been in cahoots with helping them, for so many years.
Lie about what's in this product.
I asked I don't know if I said this to you before, I asked my pediatrician, the nurse asked, like, oh, do you, they go down a list of questions for your children, and she said, oh, do you give your children milk? And I said, no, and she said, okay. I said, hold on a second. Why do you even ask me that question?
Right.
She was like, I don't even know.
Wow.
She was in a moment of honesty. But it's like, why are you asking me if I give my children milk?
Right.
We know that they don't really need milk.
No, they don't.
So why even ask the question? Who put that on the doctors? So that as a parent, I'm being pushed to give my child milk so that he has all sorts of upper respiratory issues and asthma and, mucus and all of that, skin problems. All of that. Because, okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to.
Comes from the dairy.
Yeah,
No,
I don't mean to go.
This is the podcast to do it on.
I don't mean to go off about dairy, but I just got so much healthier after I gave the dairy up.
Yeah.
So no dairy, no chicken, no eggs, none of that. I do have a little fish from time to time. If I'm hungry enough, and I especially if I'm traveling and it's hard to get satisfied nutritionally, but it is a funny thing traveling sometimes. Even going to DC, recently I was in DC and I was like, oh, I forget DC's a little southern. So everything has like cheesy grits, cheese this, cheese that, everything, fish, everything with a sauce.
Yes, got butter in it.
Oh my gosh.
Everything.
And then it's like you ask for it without, and there's a little confusion.
Oh yeah, and they will sneak it in. I had a waiter ask me one time, well, are you allergic?
Right, well, that's what they say.
I was like, well,
right.
What difference does it make?
Right.
And now I say yes.
Right.
I say I'm allergic
to make sure they don't slip it in there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a
they'll
trip.
Slip it in.
It's such a trip.
Yeah. It's hard when you travel.
It is.
It really is. It's challenging. I have figured it out. But whatever you're doing is working. Because you on the red carpet at the Oscars.
Well, thank you.
Oh, my God. I was screaming at home watching. I was like, yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's so funny. And I'm going to tell you, that dress is a dress I had in my closet. And I had worn it once before.
Yes, sustainability.
Exactly. At an event in New York this years ago. Mm-hmm. And I said, let me pull that dress out and see if I can still. And I was like, oh, I can still fit in this.
Yes.
I'm going to wear this dress.
Listen.
Yeah.
White is not easy to pull off.
Right. Well, it was white. Exactly.
I saw that. I was like, okay, ma'am. Yes. You worked it. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Were you there in the audience? Because I know people can get up and move around. Were you there when Joaquin gave his acceptance speech?
Yes. I know. I know.
I was
and it's so funny because different people have different reactions to that.
Yeah.
You know, but like I heard him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love how he connected everything.
Exactly.
It was beautifully done.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It was very clever.
And it's so interesting because, you know, I had just watched, there's a documentary, Honeyland, totally off topic, but it's a documentary called Honeyland, and you see this family dealing with these animals, and they are like with cows, and they're so cruel to them. Like, it's unwatchable to me how cruel they were with them. That's not what the movie's about. But so I had just watched that. So then when he was talking about, you know, how we ripped the calf from and I had just seen the image of how this cow was responding to her calf being taken away from her.
Yeah.
And he's 100% right.
Yeah.
Like, and I heard people say, oh my God, he's talking about calves being right. Like, those are the people who didn't think of us when our babies were being taken away from us. They weren't thinking anything of it, that we had any feeling.
It's that same superiority.
Exactly.
It's that same superiority.
Right.
Like, we own and dominate
everything.
Everything.
Right.
To the point of cruelty.
To the point of cruelty.
Yeah.
And then we ingest this milk that is that contains the hormones of this poor animal that is in distress.
Yes.
And her body is physiologically sending out stuff that's in that milk that then we ingest.
Right.
You know, I mean, we do energy. We are living organisms.
Yes.
You know, and you know, we ingest all of that negativity.
It's so true.
You know.
Yes.
So yeah, I did appreciate Joaquin.
Yeah.
You know.
It was a moment. It was
a
moment.
It was.
And so many people have talked to me about it and mentioned it. People are still talking about it.
Really?
Yeah.
And what are you hearing? What was the response? That it was the particular
positive.
about the dairy, or about the whole thing?
About connecting everything, and they never thought about it in that way. And the way I think that he made it relatable to so many people who might have been like,
right,
I'm not thinking about going vegan, or but who really never thought about the connection between all the things that we are passionate about and all the things that we fight for, and injustice, and you know, he connected all of that.
Right.
And I mean, it was beautifully done.
It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's real.
Yeah. It's very real.
Well, and I'll tell you, you know, when I was young, what stopped me from eating meat, you know, my mother used to say, I didn't like, we eat ribs, I would leave a lot of meat on the bone because I didn't like the bone in my mouth. I didn't like chewing on bones. And I think psychologically it was just like, oh, these are bones. Like, what am I doing gnawing on bones? But I remember we had like a patty sausage, like the Jimmy Dean patty sausage, something like that. And I remember cutting into it, and I saw like a vein, or you know, like I could tell it was like a vein or a ventricle or something.
It was meat.
I was like, this is like an organ, or you know. And my great grandmother, God bless her, wonderful woman, like just such a, you know, she was my ace boonie, but like she loved her like calves livers and, you know, old school. I mean, her calves livers and her pig ears and her pigtails. And I used to say to her, she would say, then get my brains, because I used to take her grocery shopping. She said, no, let's go get my calves brains. I was like, Ma Virginia, you don't need to eat that anymore. She's like, don't tell me what I need to eat. It tastes good. But I think it was too, like, for me, I was like, these are organs.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, the idea of eating the brains of something just was like, I couldn't do it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so eventually just had to give it up.
Yeah.
You know, and don't miss it. I mean, you know.
Well, I mean, and like you said, that was then, and now there's so many substitutes. I don't know
Right.
if they have brains, calves brains, out there in a soy,
Right.
version, but there's so many substitutes now. It's just no reason not to give it a
I have a
try.
question to you about that, right? Because part of me sometimes with the substitutes though,
Yeah.
like I'm trying to eat real food. I don't necessarily want to eat processed. Like, and that's not to say I don't. Every now and then, yes, an Impossible Burger or
Right.
something like that. But like, I do think about that too. Like, I worry that in a way, as we move into everyone's like, ooh, yay, let's figure out how we make plant-based so quick and easy.
Right.
That we tip on the side of now it becomes something that's so processed that's maybe
Yeah.
not as good for you when all we really need to be doing is eating real food.
See, and that to me, in a nutshell, is it. Whether you're vegan or not, you do need to lean into just organic foods and healthier foods in general. But I say about like the Impossible Burger or the Beyond Burger, it is way better than a Big Mac
For
or
sure.
a Whopper. So those moments when you are going to splurge on something, then you can splurge in the plant-based
Right,
area. When you
exactly.
do go out for nachos, you know what I mean?
Right.
Get plant-based nachos. Because
Right.
at least you're eating plants.
Have you been to Crossroads in LA?
No.
Oh gosh. Okay. So next time you go to LA, you
I
should
have
go to
to go
Crossroads.
there.
And I mention it because and Spike and I always, when we're in LA, we always go by there because Spike's not vegan, but
Mhm.
he does not eat red meat and not much poultry.
Mhm.
But this place, the food is just so
Really?
it's so good, all vegan.
Okay.
And it's just has such great flavor, and the restaurant itself is a beautiful restaurant. Most vegan or vegetarian restaurants tend to be very crunchy granola and not too, but it's a beautiful space. And so you have this beautiful space with this, an elegant with this delicious vegan food. So,
I love that.
So I give them a shout out because I appreciate what they do.
I'll have to try that.
Yeah.
I will add that to the list.
Definitely.
Well, Tonya Lewis Lee, thank you so much for stopping by Vegan Sexy Cool. It's always, I've interviewed you so many times I've lost count, but it's always
It's
lovely
so
to talk
fun.
to you.
Always good. I could
know,
talk to
right?
you for hours, Jackie.
I know. I don't want it to end. But we will catch up again. I'm sure you'll be back.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Congratulations with Vegan Sexy Cool, by the way.
Thank
Very
you.
excited to see what you're doing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And congratulations to you. These are my vitamins.
Well,
I should
good.
say I
Thank
do
you.
take them. And if you go to vegansexycool.com, you can see my feature on you and on the vitamins on the website.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.